So there's an essential skill of solving problems that we want to go over today. If you've got your handout, or that you can get that from the website and just get on there and print it out or use it. I want to first talk about to introduce this. I'm going to give you kind of a tale of two CEOs that I worked with. One of who had this skill and what happened, and one who did not have this skill, the skill of problem solving. The first one, nice guy. He ran a personnel services organization, and when I started working with him, we started working together. I said, how's your team? How's your management team? You've got vice presidents, and you've got financial people, and you've got marketing people, and sales people, and HR, and these sorts of things. Tell me about them. And he said, well, I've got a few complainers, but I think that they really don't represent who we are. So, they're the naysayers, and they're the negative people, and that sort of thing. And I thought, well, every company's got those. Every management team has got those. So then I had the meeting, where I go in and kind of like hash out what's going on and how they're doing. And he wasn't there at the meeting, because I always try to have the CEO, after he's introduced things, kind of leave for a while. Then I can get kind of more clear reality of what's going on. And the problems that they talked about were really serious problems. Problems in performance, problems in organization, problems in money, problems in how people were treated, problems in clarity. And so I didn't hear a bunch of just kind of negative people. I heard some real problems. So after I finished the training day, I always have a meeting with the CEO at the end of the day, and I said, kind of here's my diagnosis of things. Is I really see that people have some concerns. And he said, see, they got you. And I said, what do you mean they got me? He says, the complainers got you. They don't represent us. Well, I worked with him for a few sessions, and just finally had another sit down with the CEO, and I said, I really got to tell you something. I think you're not listening to them. And so we had meetings where he brought them in, and we all kind of got together, and it got better, but he never really looked at the problems they were bringing as things he wanted to address. He was one of those people that loves to see the positive, loves to see the blue sky, but if you tell him the blue sky's got some dirt underneath it that you got to work with, didn't want to look at it. And we did a lot of things, and I think it was successful, but I was kind of disappointed in the result. I didn't think we really got to where we needed to go, and it had a lot to do with the ability to solve problems. All right, fast forward to another company I worked with, which was in the manufacturing world. And the CEO there, I asked him about his team. He said, well, we try to be pretty honest, and we try to be high-performing people and care about each other. I said, well, how do you handle problems? He said, well, honestly, when we have a meeting together, I'm kind of disappointed if we don't break something. What does break something mean? He said, well, we got to have some tough discussions and some vigorous debate and some disagreeing. Sometimes things break. We break an idea, or we break somebody's brainstorm, we break somebody's habit. And I thought, what a great way to look at that. We break things, because when you break things, they get better. I don't mean like hurting people's feelings and, being mean, but kind of like vigorous debate. So I sat in on a team meeting, because I like to do that, and it gives me a lot of information. And I watched them, and in my world, when you're a consultant, you sit there and you're kind of quiet. They notice you for a while, then it's sort of like you're a piece of furniture. So they kind of act happy for a while, then they forget you're there, and you're a fly on the wall. And they started breaking things. And one would say, we got to do this. And the other person would say, Jim, you said that 3 months ago. You hadn't done anything about it. Why should I believe you now? I mean, you're a great guy, and pretty direct stuff. And then Jim and Sam would work on it, and Sally'd come in, and they would argue, and they would eat these problems and address these problems, and there was all this energy between them. Probably no surprise. That second company is growing at an accelerated rate. Very, very successful, because they're not afraid of problems, and they don't accept things the way they are, and they think, why can't we do it differently? Remember Robert Kennedy's great statement, where he says, some people look at things and say, why? And I look at things and say, why not? That why not attitude, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, is part of why people who are very successful in life, in business, in relationship, emotional life, career, spiritual life, how they get there is they understand the skill of solving problems. All right? So that's where we're going to go. So in your